Can you get back up? You weren't born to be perfect. You were born to try, to stumble, to fall, and then to rise again and again. That's what discipline is. Not perfection. Not unbroken streaks. But the willingness to recover when things go wrong. The discipline to begin again. Think of Abraham Lincoln, who failed in business, lost multiple elections, and endured personal tragedy before eventually becoming one of the greatest American presidents. His success wasn't due to luck or charisma alone, it was his resilience. He had the discipline to persevere when others would have given up. Each failure taught him something new and built his emotional endurance. Another example is Amelia Earhart. She wasn't the most skilled pilot when she began, nor was she always successful. She faced countless mechanical issues, public scrutiny, and dangerous flights. But she didn't let fear or failure stop her. She kept getting back into the cockpit. Her grit, fueled by purpose and discipline, made her a pioneer. The lesson? Getting knocked down is inevitable. But staying down is a choice. Discipline is what lifts you back up. It teaches you to look at failure not as defeat, but as data. Feedback. A redirection, not an ending. So ask yourself, when you hit rock bottom, will you stay there, or will you rise stronger? Do your job. There's a kind of quiet nobility in simply doing your job. Not chasing applause. Not waiting for recognition. Just showing up and executing your responsibilities with integrity. In today's world, we're constantly pushed towards seeking fame, fortune, and praise. But real discipline means sticking to your post even when nobody's watching. Even when the spotlight fades. This mindset was embodied by Roman general Marcus Aurelius, who believed that a man should be upright, not kept upright. In other words, don't wait for external motivation, create your own. You do the work because it's right. Because it needs to be done. Not because someone is grading you. Take the example of Fred Rogers, better known as Mr. Rogers. For decades, he quietly showed up and delivered thoughtful, meaningful programming to children. He didn't chase trends. He didn't compromise his values for ratings. He stuck to his mission even when it was no longer popular. That's discipline. That's doing your job with consistency, humility, and heart. Control your emotions. Discipline begins in the mind. It's not just about waking up early or exercising daily, it's about emotional self-mastery. How often do we let anger, fear, jealousy, or anxiety dictate our actions? These emotions are powerful, but they don't have to control us. The Stoics believed that while we can't control what happens to us, we can always control how we respond. That's where our power lies. Think about General Ulysses S. Grant during the American Civil War. Under pressure, amid chaos and bloodshed, Grant maintained an uncanny calmness. He never panicked. That mental discipline allowed him to make clear-headed decisions that turned the tide of battle. Modern life may not put us in trenches, but we still face emotional landmines, criticism, rejection, loss, temptation. The disciplined person doesn't ignore emotions, they feel them, but they don't let them steer the ship. So next time you're insulted or frustrated, remember, you don't have to react. You don't have to give anyone else power over your peace. Calm is a superpower. Be reliable. What do people say about you when you're not in the room? Are you the person they trust to get things done? Reliability is one of the highest forms of discipline. It's not flashy. It's not glamorous. But it's deeply respected. Your reputation is built on how consistently you follow through. Do you meet deadlines? Do you show up when you say you will? Do you honor your word even when it's inconvenient? George Washington was famously reliable. His men trusted him not because he was the loudest or most charismatic leader, but because he was steady, dependable, and fair. That reliability was foundational to America's birth. Being reliable isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. It means people know what they can count on from you. In a world full of empty promises and half-hearted efforts, reliability is revolutionary. Say no to temptation. Temptation is everywhere. It's not just about avoiding sweets or skipping parties, it's about saying no to whatever distracts you from your highest purpose. Every time you choose long-term growth over short-term pleasure, you strengthen your discipline muscle. Saying no is hard because it often means disappointing others, missing out, or facing FOMO. But every no to distraction is a yes to excellence. Think of Odysseus in Homer's Odyssey. When passing the island of the Sirens whose songs lured sailors to their doom, he had his men tie him to the mast of his ship so he wouldn't give in. That's how serious he was about resisting temptation. What are your sirens? Social media? Laziness? Approval seeking? Identify them. Prepare for them. Discipline is choosing your destiny over your desire. Practice temperance. We often think of self-discipline as effort and ambition. But true discipline also includes temperance, the ability to stop, to rest, to know when enough is enough. You don't need to work 24/7. In fact, burnout is the enemy of sustained excellence. Knowing when to pause is a strength, not a weakness. The philosopher Epictetus advised, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. This includes walking away from the ego boost of always being busy and instead finding balance. Even greats like Leonardo da Vinci would stop and take breaks, not because they were lazy, but because they understood the creative process required space. Temperance isn't about doing less. It's about doing smartly and sustainably. Live by a code. Discipline isn't just about habits, it's about values. What principles guide your life? When you have a personal code, you don't need external rules or constant supervision. You become your own law. Samurai warriors lived by Bushido. Roman Stoics lived by virtue. Soldiers follow their creeds. These codes gave them direction, courage, and strength under pressure. What is your code? Honor? Integrity? Courage? Humility? Write it down. Refer to it often. Let it shape your decisions. When you're tempted to cut corners, when you're tired, when no one is watching, that's when your code becomes your compass. Conclusion: discipline is destiny. Discipline doesn't restrict your freedom, it creates it. It helps you build a life that reflects your values, your dreams, and your full potential. It's what separates those who merely wish from those who achieve. It's not about talent, luck, or genetics. It's about showing up, doing the work, and mastering your impulses. Whether it's waking up early, staying calm under pressure, saying no to temptation, or living by a code, every choice is a brick in the structure of your destiny. Ryan Holiday's message is simple but powerful. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be disciplined. Because discipline isn't punishment, it's power. And with it, you can build the life you were meant to live.